the spring of 1959, a colonel in the United States Army signed off on a set of engineering drawings. A buried outpost, 12 soldiers, a nuclear reactor, the moon. The file was called Project Horizon. It was classified secret. And within a year, it was dead. 67 years later, the richest rocket company on Earth turned away from Mars and pointed at the moon. Weeks later, NASA put $20 billion on the table and said the words every administrator since Apollo has choked on. This time, we stay. So why is nobody living there already? Almost everything you need exists. The rockets exist. The plans exist. Even the money for once exists. And yet the longest any human being has ever stayed on the moon is 75 hours. Not years, not months, 3 days. Because the moon has 3 ways of saying no. The first, engineers have finally beaten. The second, they believe they can beat. But the third, the quiet one, nobody on Earth has an answer for. This is what it would actually take to build a city on the moon. Start with the refusal everyone remembers, getting there at all. Project Horizon died the way every moon base since has died. Not on physics, but on arithmetic. Every kilogram delivered to the lunar surface rode a rocket that flew once and was thrown away, and at that price, a 12-man outpost cost as much as a small war. The Pentagon did the math and quietly closed the file. A graveyard of blueprints followed it. Horizon, Lunex, Lisa, Constellation, Gateway, drawn, budgeted, buried. 5 decades of moon bases killed by the same number, the price of a kilogram. But that number finally moved. Boosters taller than Saturn V now fly, land, and fly again. And every reflight pushes the cost of a lunar kilogram towards something a construction project can survive. Therefore, this year's announcement reads, less like a vision and more like a schedule. Next year, a crew docks with a lander in Earth orbit. A full dress rehearsal where mistakes are survivable. Early 2028, boots in the dust of the lunar South Pole. Then a cadence Apollo would recognize. A landing every 6 months. 25 missions in the first 3 years. And ahead of the astronauts rolls a scout. A rover named Viper, cancelled once, resurrected. Riding a commercial lander down to hunt for the one resource this entire city depends on. Hold that thought. Getting there, in other words, is nearly solved. Solved enough that 2 companies are racing each other for the landing, which is exactly when the real problem begins. The moon was never trying to stop you from arriving. It stops you from staying. The first thing every visitor noticed was the dust. Gene Cernan, the last man to climb back up that ladder, spent 3 days in it and named the sickness it gave him lunar hay fever. It jammed zippers, ground into joints, and chewed through the seals of a suit built to survive space. In 3 days, and Apollo 12 learned what the dust does at speed. The crew landed beside Surveyor 3, a robot probe asleep on the surface for 2 years, and found it sandblasted by their own landing engine from a football field away. Lunar dust has never been weathered. No wind, no water. Nothing has ever rounded its edges. It is powdered glass, and it clings to everything. Is it toxic? Lab studies have damaged lung cells and DNA. A newer study found fine dust gentler than city smog. Honestly, nobody knows yet. Which matters, because a city means bulldozing millions of tons of it, and you must build with it, because hauling walls from Earth is the old dead arithmetic. The dirt underfoot is nearly half oxygen by weight, and heated, it fuses, Engineers have already printed bricks from imitation moon dust, melt it further, and it pours like cement. The city's walls are lying on the ground, waiting. The harder question is the address, and there are only 3 good ones. The dark craters, where the ice is. The sunlit ridges, where the power is. And the caves, because in 2024, radar proved that under the Sea of Tranquility, a pit opens into an intact cave, a ready-made shelter the size of a concert hall, which brings back the ice. In 2009, NASA slammed a rocket stage into a shadowed crater and read the debris cloud, about 5% water. Real ice on the real moon, but the famous figure, 600 million tons, traces back to a single radar estimate from 2010, and newer surveys keep finding the ice patchier, dirtier, deeper. The water bill of this entire city rests on a number no one has ever checked on the ground. That is Viper's real mission. The reason the whole schedule bends around a rover the size of a golf cart. So suppose the dirt cooperates. Suppose the ice is real. Then the sun goes down. Night at a lunar base is not an evening. It is 14 days of darkness, and it is cold in a way Earth never is. Around minus 130 degrees on the open plains. The shadowed crater floors go further. Minus 230, the coldest surfaces ever measured in the solar system, colder than Pluto. Solar panels give nothing, batteries drain, electronics freeze and do not wake up. Therefore, the planned centerpiece is not a habitat at all. It is a reactor, a fission plant the size of a shipping container, targeted for the surface by 2030. Roughly 100 kilowatts, a small village of power, running through the 2-week night as if it were noon. Radiation yields to engineering too. A Chinese lander finally measured the dose out on the surface, more than double the daily dose on the space station, 200 times a quiet day on Earth. But 3 meters of packed moon dirt stops nearly all of it. So the first lunar architecture will not be gleaming domes. It will be basements. Bury the bedrooms. Print the shielding from dirt. Power solved on paper. Shielding solved with a shovel. And then there is the number no reactor and no shovel can touch. 1/6. In weightlessness, astronauts lose about 1% of their bone every month. Whether 1/6 gravity slows that, whether the heart, the eyes, the spine ever settle at lunar weight, there is no data. None. No mammal has ever been raised there. No child has ever been carried there. Our species' entire residence on the moon is that 75-hour record. The blueprints have walls, power, water, air. Where the human body should be, they have a blank page. There are 2 honest answers to that blank page. The first belongs to the skeptic, and it deserves steel, not straw. None of this survives contact with a budget. The pattern is real. Apollo reached the moon and was cancelled with rockets still unflown. Constellation was cancelled. Gateway was cancelled just this spring, cannibalised to pay for this very base. Blueprints outrun budgets every time, and a half-built lunar city dies the moment a government blinks. 67 years of history sit on the skeptic's side of the scale. The second answer is stranger and newer. Then do not send bodies. Not at first. The moon is close enough that a radio signal makes the round trip in under 3 seconds. Close enough to drive a bulldozer from a desk on Earth. This summer, Musk floated sending humanoid robots to raise the settlement before any astronaut arrives. And notice what happens to the engineering the moment you remove the humans. No air to make, no food to grow, no bedrooms to shield. The impossible city becomes a construction site, grading roads, stacking blocks, printing walls, run by machines that do not breathe, do not sleep, and do not mind the night. As for the old dream of paying for it all with helium-3 and fusion, that remains a fuel for reactors that do not yet exist, the honest economics are thinner: water, landing pads, and knowledge. So the first lunar city may well be raised by machines that never sleep, for residents who may never be able to stay. So weigh it the way an engineer would, known, we can get there, at a price that finally makes sense, and we can almost certainly build there. The bricks, the reactor, the buried halls, that is engineering, not fantasy. Uncertain whether the ice pays the bill, a rover the size of a golf cart is on its way to find out. Open, wide open, whether a human body over years can call the moon home at all. 3 days is our species' entire experiment. 67 years after a colonel filed those first drawings, the rockets are finally being stacked. So the question is no longer whether we can build a city on the moon. It is this: when the walls are up and the lights come on, who moves in? That answer is not written anywhere on Earth, not yet, and that is where I will leave it. And if there is a mystery you would love to see untangled, tell me. Until the next one.